reminded by the 3 areas that were brought out in terms of early childhood, our linguistic culture, and special education. I'm urging that some of you in Jamaica 5 group will think of these areas as suitable areas that you might want to do your research on next year, so that when Mr. Hall comes back as a guest next year, he will hear some of the things that you have done in your research in order to better special education, our linguistic culture, and early childhood in Jamaica, land we love. As we close and we recess, the hymn,
redeemed by the precious blood of the Lamb, redeemed by the touch of the Savior's hand, redeemed. We were saved and sanctified, redeemed. Hallelujah, redeemed. Redeemed. When we sinned and went to die, redeemed.
Persons present to witness. Sorry, wrong place. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our first session, and we have the waiting Venita Simpson Brown, and Mrs. Simpson Brown is going to be talking with us, sharing with us her research on the impact of phonemic awareness instruction on emergent reading skills of 5-year-olds. Mrs. Simpson Brown, as is customary, you will have 45 minutes for your presentation and an additional 15 minutes to interact with the audience. We're privileged this morning to have with us the president of the Jamaica Teachers Association. You are the only one to have him. Yes, and his dear wife, who is a specialist in this area. So be comforted. She's here to support. All right. So what I do, Benita, is the presenters before you have said, when I have 15 of my 45 minutes left, indicate. Okay, if you want that done, I can do that for you. All right, I'll do that. And you will then use that to wrap up or, move on towards the end. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to bring your attention to the feedback form. It's important that you do it. The presenters do appreciate the feedback you give them. So be sure to complete it by the end of the session. All right? It's one of these. Just 2 questions they've asked you, so please look for it and complete it. Help me make welcome then Mrs. Benita.
Good morning, everyone. Meet Benita Simpson-Brown, a 13-year early childhood teacher who sincerely believes that if my children do not learn the way I teach, then I must teach the way that they learn. Now we're going to sing. You have a handout with a song on it. We're going to sing this song to start of the presentation. Okay, since I have a problem with my throat, I have some friends who will be helping me to sing the song.
If I am to learn to read on snow letter sounds, if I am to learn to read on snow letter sounds, if you know the sound of A, shout it out, ah, ah. If you know the sound of M, shout it out, If you know the sound of T, shout it out, shout it out. Now say all 3, ah, and I must know each letter, put the sounds together, ah, and.
Okay, now we're going to see if we made the correct sounds of those letters.
A-I-O-B, C, cat, D, dog, E, elephant, F, fish, G, gorilla, H, hat. Igloo, J, juice, K, kangaroo, L, lion, M, monkey, N, nose, O, octopus, P, pig, Q, question, R, N, S, sun, T, ten, U, umbrella, man, W, watch, X, spots, Y, yellow, Z, zoo. These are the sounds that
The importance of acquiring reading skills in the early grades cannot be overstated. Reading is essential to success in our today's global environment, as it helps students to acquire knowledge that will enhance their potential for success later on in life. The ability to read is therefore highly valued and important for social and economic advancements. Rubin 1990 found that the longer a child remains a non-reader, the less likely are his or her chances to get up to his or her grade level or his or her ability level, even with the best remedial help. Of course, most children learn to read fairly well, but I am most concerned with the large number of students entering grade 1 who do not possess the necessary reading skills to perform well. In previous years, as an early childhood educator, I employed whole language instruction in my classroom. The use of phonemic awareness instruction was minimal, as blending, segmenting, isolation of beginning, initial, and medial sounds were not given as a part of the daily instructions. In order to encode and decode words, students were engaged in a lot of drill and practice. The problem I encountered here was that some of the students were not making connections outside of their readers with these words. I became more concerned and interested in my students' emergent reading skills when I visited the United States of America in the summer of 2011. My 5-year-old cousin, who was still in kindergarten, was able to decode words that made up several texts. He would slowly sound out or decode words. This had me in awe, as he would attempt to decode not only words he was familiar with, but other texts that were above his grade and age level. I was determined to work with my students until they were reading at this level. My concern heightened when I attended a workshop held at Cheapside Early Childhood Institution. Keone Green, Developmental Officer for the Early Childhood Commission, Zone 30, stated that the feedback she was getting from the Grade 1 individual learning profile was that the students in Region 5 were performing poorly on the oral language and reading section of the assessment. The results from the Grade 1 inventory learning profile from the school most of our students were now attending revealed that less than half of the students entering Grade 1 over the past years were not proficient in oral language and reading. In 2010, 22.7% of these students were proficient in oral language and 22.7% in reading. In 2011, 22.2% of the students were proficient in oral language and 11.1% in reading. Based on this background, I then decided to use the following topic to guide my research: the impact of phonemic awareness instructional strategies on reading skills of 5-year-olds. Now, these terms will be seen throughout research, and these are the meanings. Phonemic awareness, that's being aware of the individual sounds of that make up 2 and 3 phoneme words. Impact, the positive or negative effects phonemic awareness instruction will have on emergent reading skills of 5-year-old students. And emergent reading skills, meaning students being able to identify letters and letter sounds, being able to blend the segment, isolate, identifying rhyming words, matching words that have the same beginning, middle, or ending sounds, and choosing the odd word in a set of words. What is phonemic awareness instruction? It is not a skill. Batts in 1998 stated that phonemic awareness is the ability to hear the individual sounds that make up words. Blevins 1997 postulated that phonemic awareness is the ability to pick out and manipulate sounds in spoken words. Some different theorists have different views on phonemic awareness. Stanovich 1993 to 94 and Adams 1990 stated that phonemic awareness was the best predictor of early reading success. Blevins 1997, Fitzpatrick 1997 stated that phonemic awareness should be clear and taught in logical sequence. Kirby, Parla, and Pfeiffer 2003 and on 1997 believe that phonemic awareness is an essential tool for learning to read. Yap 1992, Adams 1990, and Blevins 1997 believe that phonemic awareness has 5 stages or tasks. The first 4 should be covered before the end of kindergarten. Blevins 1997, Treehorn 2003 believes that phonemic awareness should take place in a print-rich environment. Griffith and Olson 1992 and Jewell 1998 believe that students who enter the first grade phonemically unaware are very likely to remain poor readers throughout their school years. On the other hand, Reading and Van Duren 2007 believed that there was no difference in reading achievement if phonemic awareness was covered in kindergarten or in grade 1, based on the research they conducted. Students who received phonemic awareness instruction and those who received phonemic awareness instruction in kindergarten and those who received it in grade 1 showed no difference in reading achievement. Bradford 2010 also believed that students can be taught to successfully understand phonemic awareness at any age. Research questions. The research sought to find answers to the following questions. The main question was, what impact will the use of phonemic awareness instruction have on emergent reading skills of a group of 5-year-old students? The next question was the instruction question, and that was, how will employing phonemic awareness instruction in an early childhood classroom improve students' emergent reading? The assessment question, what are the effects of phonemic awareness instruction on emergent reading achievement? And the environment question, how will a classroom environment that promotes phonemic awareness develop emergent reading skills in 5-year-olds? The participants. This research was conducted in the first term of the school year, September to November 2012, and lasted for 12 weeks. The sample consisted of 12 students, 8 girls and 4 boys. They were of varying abilities. The study was conducted in a selected early childhood institution in Southeast St. Elizabeth. This institution has a population of 40 students. Students attend this institution at age 3 and leave at age 6. All students in the class were all 5-year-olds. A welcoming and attractive environment proved to be a positive environment in which students felt safe to discover and create new meanings for themselves. The classroom was print-rich. Different learning centers were set up in the classroom. In the reading center, there were various games such as alphabet game, bingo, feed who, puzzles, letter tiles, alphabet chart, and books with 2 and 3 phoneme words. Data was collected by different instruments throughout this action research process. I used various instruments to gather information on the treatment that was carried out to ensure its validity and reliability. The instruments used were teacher observation and reflection, developmental checklist, phonemic awareness inventory, daily assessments, and photography. Teacher observation and reflection was used to see how students learn and the factors that were contributing to their lack of learning. Observation also provided me with the opportunity to see how they reacted to their classroom environment. The level 3 developmental checklist was used at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the research to see the students' progress over time with the treatment being administered. The phonemic awareness inventory, which consisted of 5 levels, was used at the beginning and at the end of the research to assess students' phonemic awareness and emergent reading skills. Daily assessments were ungraded. They were done in oral and written activities. Photographs were used to capture moments when students were working in groups and taking part in activities that could not be measured by the checklist. It also provided evidential data. Permission was requested from the principal and parents to conduct this action research. A modified level 3 developmental checklist and phonemic awareness inventory were then used to assess students' reading level and phonemic awareness. The checklist had 14 items, 9 in the reading skills section and 5 in the phonemic awareness section. Phonemic awareness inventory had 5 levels. After students were assessed, the treatment of phonemic awareness instruction was administered over a 12-week period. This was carried out 5 days per week. The instruction was for 30 minutes. The instructions given were developmentally appropriate, playful and engaging, interactive, social, and stimulated curiosity and experimentation with language as suggested by Steinhaus 2000 and Yop and Yap 2000. They also recommended using songs, chants, and wordplay games. In week 1 and 2, students were reintroduced to the 26 letters of the alphabet, and the sounds they made. Now I'm going to show you a small video clip that this was done.
B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now you know your ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
It was important to reintroduce students to the letters of the alphabet and sounds as the National Reading Panel 2000 and the findings of the National Reading Panel 2000 and Bradley and Bryant 1983 postulated that children should be taught to manipulate phonemes with letters in order for it to be effective. This was done by using games, songs, pictures, flashcards, DVDs, books, cooperative grouping, and charts. Students watched DVDs such as Leapfrog, Jolly Phonics, Meet the Letters, Meet the Sounds, and Phonic Songs. Games such as Hopscotch, Bingo, Alphabet Game, Feed Pooh, I Spy, and Treasure Hunt were played. For example, in playing bingo, a teacher would say a sound and students would put a marker on the letters that made that sound. The first paper that had all the letters covered the student would be the winner. In week 3 and 4, students were introduced to sound, to word-to-word matching, sound-to-sound matching, and sound-to-word matching. For example, you're going to tell me whether these words are the same or different. Cat and cat, are they the same or different? Cat and car. Right. So these were some of the activities that were carried out for students to identify words that had the same sound. In week 5 and 6, students were introduced to isolation of beginning sounds, medial sounds, and ending sounds. This is known as phoneme isolation. For example, and I'm going to refer to answer, what is the beginning sound in the word hot? The beginning sound. Right. What's the medial sound in the word hot? And the ending sound in the word hot would be? In weeks 7 and 8, students were introduced to phoneme categorization of 2 and 3 phoneme words. For example, in the words peg, pin, pot, and ball, which word does not belong? Why? Why ball is the odd word out? And the other words begin with which sound? And ball begins with which sound? Right. In week 9 and 10, phoneme blending was introduced to the students. This had them listening to a sequence of separately spoken phonemes and combining the phonemes to form a word. You're going to listen to these word parts and then make the word sat, right. In week 11 and 12, phoneme segmentation was done. This was breaking a word into its separate sounds and saying each sound. For example, the word sat. Could you segment that word for me, please? The findings of the National Reading Panel 2000 suggested that blending and segmenting are the most powerful phonemic awareness tasks. After all these were done, the Level 3 developmental checklist and phonemic awareness inventory were administered to measure the effectiveness of phonemic awareness instructional strategies on the emergent reading skills of 5-year-olds. Over the period, students were observed, assessed daily, and photographed. In answering the main question, what impact will the use of phonemic awareness instruction have on reading skills of 5-year-olds? I used the data collected from daily assessments, observation and reflection, phonemic awareness inventory, and Level 3 developmental checklist. The findings from the daily assessments revealed that students were identifying letters and letter sounds on charts and around the classroom. They were also blending and segmenting words. At the end of the treatment, 4 students were able to decode all the words in their readers. And at times, I would have students coming up to me and saying, "Miss, you want me to read a book for you, miss?" Valentina, 1981, supported these findings as he believed that students in kindergarten should segment and blend the phonemes. Based on observation, students were seen identifying letters on charts and making their sounds. Students were also observed teaching each other letter identification and sounds, how to isolate, blend, and also segment sounds. At the beginning of the research, most of the students were not able to do these activities without the help of the teacher. The results of the phonemic awareness inventory also revealed that there was improvement with the different phonemic awareness levels. And as you can see, in the beginning, level 1, there were 12 students who were at level 1. There were no students at level 2. Level 2, 4, and 5, and 5 students were able to master level 3. At the end of the 12 weeks, only 2 students remained at level 1. Level 2 and 3 had 4 students. 4 students were able to master level 4, and 2 students were able to master level 5. Level 5 had to do with phoneme manipulation, that was deletion of beginning, endings, and ending sounds. I did not cover that in my research, and those students were able to do that. The results from the level 3 developmental checklist indicated that when it was first administered, 7 students received scores in the range 0 to 3. 3 students received scores in the range 4 to 6. 2 students received scores in the range 7 to 9. And in the ranges 10 to 11, 12 to 14, there were no students represented here. When it was administered the second time, 5 students had now received scores in the range 0 to 3. 2 students in the ranges 4 to 6. The range 7 to 9 accounted for 3 students. 10 to 11 had 2 students, and there were no students represented in the ranges 12 to 14. At the end of the research, only 1 student had now received scores in the range 0 to 3, 2 students in the range 4 to 6, 3 students in the range 7 to 9, 2 students in the range 10 to 11, and there were now 4 students represented in the range 12 to 14. This showed that there was an improvement in scores. From the data collected, the findings revealed that phonemic awareness instruction had a positive impact on reading skills of 5-year-old students. The findings can be supported by Snow, Burns, and Griffin, 1998, who postulated that instruction in early reading, specifically explicit instruction in letter-sound correspondence, appears to strengthen phonemic awareness. Blatchman, Tangle, Wall, Black, and McGraw, 1999, also stated that phonemic awareness